to K21 Academy. In this video, our expert instructors will guide you through the core concepts of Terraform, focusing on resources and their attributes. Understanding these elements is essential for orchestrating and automating your cloud infrastructure effectively. Watch this video as we provide detailed explanation and practical demonstration showing you how to create and manage key resources like resource group and virtual machines. By the end of the session, you will gain crucial insights into why Terraform is an indissoluble tool. Also, don't miss the end for a special free class.
Okay, here we are. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a resource. So what is a resource? As just now mentioned, resource means the actual infrastructure that you're going to deploy on your provider. So let's say if it is a Microsoft Azure, on Microsoft Azure, what you will want to create? You want to create a storage account, a vault, okay, a virtual network, a resource group, a virtual machine, anything. There are a lot of resources here. You can see all resources, and it's a big list. Okay, so we can create anything from here. There are a lot of resources you can see. So these all are resources. Now this will change provider to provider. Now you are saying, okay, I want to create a resource on AWS. So you know that on AWS we use different terminologies, like we use VPC for a virtual machine. On Microsoft Azure we use virtual machine. Okay, for virtual networks on Microsoft Azure it is named as VNet. For virtual net AWS it is named as, I think, VPC. Sorry, my bad. For virtual machine it is EC2 instance. Just mistaken. EC2 for virtual machines. Okay, and accordingly, like we have S3 for storage on AWS. Here we directly have storage accounts. Okay, so the resources will change from provider to provider, but logic is same. Okay, any resource to any provider that you want to create will always start with the resource block. Okay, they are always starting with the resource block, and then for that particular resource the attributes will change accordingly. Okay, now question is, Akhil, there are a lot of resources for Azure, a lot of resources for AWS. How will I remember? You don't need to remember. Everything is on the documentation. Okay, so let's go to the registry.terraform.io again, and let's go to the providers and go to Azure. Now you are saying, Akhil, okay, so I'm going to now start the resource block. Resource, cool. You can use tab to auto complete the syntaxes. Now question is, it's asking me to put something I don't know. So let's go here and let's go to this documentation. When you go to this documentation, you will get a big list. These are all you see on the left hand side. There's a list of all the resources. Okay, so let's start from the very basic. On Microsoft Azure, the first resource that you create is called a resource group. Correct? We create a resource group. This is where we create all our resources. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create one resource group from Terraform. Okay, from Terraform, a resource group on Microsoft Azure. So for that, I need to go to this page and I need to search here that, okay, I want to create a resource group. So right here, a resource group. When you write resource group, you will see some results. Okay, you will see some results. You should see for the result which starts with resources. Okay, there are many other results. Okay, I will talk about them later on. You should see for a resource. Now see the syntax, very important. Okay, if I'm searching for Azure, it's starting with, so let me open my notepad and then tell you. So your syntax for any of the providers is very simple. First will be your resource provider name underscore your resource name. That's it. So for example, if it is your resource provider is, for example, AWS, it will start as AWS underscore, for example, VPC. If it is Azure, it will be Azure RM underscore, for example, you're making a VM, so it can be virtual underscore machine. If that name is big, it contains two words, they will be always separated using underscores. Then you are saying if it is a Google, so maybe it's Google underscore virtual underscore machine. That's it. It's a simple syntax. Let's verify this here. You see, going to get resource group. So syntax is simple. Resource provider underscore resource group. Same way you are saying, okay, I want to create something on AWS documentation. For example, I want to create EC2. I want to create one EC2. So if you see here EC2 in resources, there are a lot of results for EC2. I want to simply create and let's go for the resources, no problem. For example, from AWS, you see the syntax is how they are. AWS underscore resource name. AWS underscore, same way you search it for Google. You will see the resources are classified as, for example, I want to create anything. Let's say DNS. So you will see Google underscore DNS. So that's the simple syntax, okay? For any resource that you want to create, they will start with your resource name. You can always search directly with resource name here. And let's say this one. So it's starting with my provider name. Sorry, this one. With my provider name followed by my resource. Okay, so this will be the name. Question is, Akhil, how will I use it? Scroll down, you have example. Okay, now these examples are just for reference. They will not always fulfill your needs. Okay, they will only give you an idea that, okay, this is the syntax, how you can use. The attributes might not be sufficient for you. Sometimes they will give you only the mandatory attributes. Sometimes they will not tell you the mandatory attributes. So you might have to read the documentation, and it will only be good enough if you know about that resource. Like for example, if you are a Microsoft guy, you know that on Microsoft, when I create a resource group, I mandatory have to give a name and location. That's it. So you will follow the syntax here. So of course, we expect that if you're a Terraform administrator, you ask your team. So let's say Akhil is asking to Abdul that, hey Abdul, you want me to create on Microsoft what? So Abdul says, I wanted to create a resource group. Okay, what is the name and tell me the details of that. Abdul will give you, and then accordingly you will see the documentation and fulfill the details. Okay, so let's copy this. No need to copy, we know we just need to give name and location. So we can go here, see the syntax. Resource, then in double quotes, first my provider resource name, followed by this another name. What is this name? I will tell you very short, and then this one. So let's complete this. So I'm saying provider, I'm going for Azure RM underscore resource. You can copy paste it completely. Okay, no need to write it. Resource underscore group. And then here, let's say I'm saying that this is the named as my RG. Okay, or let's say RG1, resource group 1. We just now saw what attributes it needs name. So name is equals to, so I'm giving it a name, for example, as Akhil RG. And then I am going to give it a location, and I'm saying location, let's say I want to deploy this in East US. Okay, you can take location of your choice. You must know the valid locations of Microsoft Azures. Accordingly, you can take. Okay, so I'm saying I want to deploy this in East US. That's it. Save. Now, what is this name and what is this name? I will tell you. First, let me show you the output. Then many questions will be automatically answered. The moment I save this, and now what is the next step? You remember the flow? First, init, it is done. Next one is plan. Init, which is followed by plan, which is followed by apply. Okay, this is the flow followed by apply. So now we will do plan. So for plan, we will simply say Terraform plan, and we know what plan will do. Plan will tell me that what are the proposed changes that you have to do in order to satisfy your requirement. Okay, so for that, the moment I hit enter, let's see what is happening in the back end. There is one problem, feature blocks. Oops, I have not given the features, so let's give features and let's leave it empty. Let's not define anything, just keep it empty. Save. Now let's plan. Now you see on left hand also something is happening. You see 2 new files got generated, but let's see if this file still persists or they will be removed. Let's wait. So what plan is doing? Plan is doing a dry run. My desired state is I want a resource group with this name, with this location. So plan is going to test. It will connect to my Microsoft provider and check whether there is this resource group available with this name or not. If not, it will give me the changes required. If yes, it will tell me accordingly. So let's wait and see. Perfect. So you see, it says that Terraform will perform the following actions. This Azure underscore resource blah 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 will be created. That means one to add. It says, boss, you have to add one plan. Okay. And this is the plan that you're going to add. This plus in green color symbol indicates that this resource will be added. Now see very carefully, everyone. I want you to understand one very important thing here. There are two names, one this and one this. Can anybody tell me which name will be used to deploy a resource group on Terraform if I run Terraform apply? Will it be RG1 or Akhil RG? Now see, you have to understand. See, I don't want you to rush. Things are very straightforward, simple. If you understand the basics, the rest of the session will be like a very easy for you to understand. You see here. You see the detail here. From here, everything will be clear. You see, Terraform says that, hey, Akhil, an Azure RM resource group dot RG1 dot RG1. This RG1 has taken from here. Will be created, and this resource will have this ID, which will be known after apply, will be going to the location this, and will be having this name. So these are the attributes of this resource. That means this Akhil RG name will be used. This RG1 is just a reference name for Terraform. It has nothing to do with Microsoft. Terraform is only using this as a reference name. Okay, locally in your laptop, Terraform is understanding everything with this name. For Terraform, this is just an attribute. This will be cross-verified if you are deploying it on your provider. If attributes is correct, it's okay. If it is wrong, you will get an error. Terraform only knows this attribute. Okay, that is the name RG1. Okay, dot RG1. Now you see, I will again tell you this again if you are still confused. Now let me do an apply. I'm saying, hey boss, apply this now. Terraform apply. Now there are two things. You can directly run Terraform apply and hit enter. In this case, it will first again show you the plans and will ask confirmation from you like this. So it will show you the plan and will ask you, do you really want to apply these changes? Yes or no? Okay, so see, it says that the following actions will be performed. One planet, do you really want to perform this action? Only yes will be accepted. If you write anything else, it will make it no. So let's say I'm saying N. So it will just cancel my apply. See, apply cancelled. This is one way. Otherwise, if you don't want to interact, you can also use -auto -approve. -auto -approve. But -auto -approve should be used only when you have already ran plan. That means you know that changes are okay. Okay, because this cannot be terminated in between. Here we had an option. Okay, so now I am saying auto approve. It will not prompt me for yes, no. It will directly connect to the provider and will create a resource group. So let's wait and see. Okay, so here we are. It says that creation is completed, one resource added. Now you see on left hand side we have one more file. What is tf state? I will talk about this. Let's see on Microsoft. Let's refresh this. It might take few minutes also sometime to update here. It depends upon the network. You see, I got Akhil RG and this is running in East US. So this resource group was created from the Terraform. Okay. First, I want to try this, and then if you have any questions, you can ask me. So go ahead, everyone. Try creating a resource group with any name. You can choose any location. Make sure it's a valid location. East US, West US. You can check the locations. Okay. So go ahead, everyone. Give it a try. Okay, so this was quickly about resources, how we create a resource. I just created one small resource. Okay, that was the resource provider. we have seen how do we define. So this is the resource name and this is the local name. We call it as a local name or as a reference name, anything, okay? And then inside that block, we define our attributes, which will change resource to resource, okay? This is another example that we have for resources and another example for resource arguments. Okay, so you can have both mandatory and optional arguments. Okay, so mandatory is, of course, you cannot miss that. Like this is the minimal requirement, okay, that you want to give for resource group. Same way it will vary according to your resources. Now next thing is we will talk about the attributes. So every resource is having different attributes, okay, and all the attributes you can see when you run the plan command. Okay, so here you will see the list of all the attributes. Okay, this will vary according to the resources. In this example slide, you can see here they have given the example for virtual network. We will create very soon all these attributes resources. We will see. So see, for virtual network there are many different attributes: name, location, address space, DNS servers, and so on. Okay, so your resources will always have these attributes that you can create. So now what we will do is, we have only till now created main.tf file. Okay, we will talk about these files later on. Okay, now what is a good practice? Good practice is, now think of it this way: if I have more than one Terraform files, okay, like for example, let's say there's one file which I'm using to create this resource, I can have another file. So it's a good practice, you know, to distribute your files so that you manage your resources individually. It's very easy to manage in that way. Okay, now what does that mean? What I will do is, now I'm going to take an actual example of creating a virtual machine on my Microsoft Azure. Okay, but before that I will show you how to delete your resource. So this resource I have created, which is right now on my Microsoft Azure. You can see here this is already existing. If you check in resource groups, I have Akilarji. So to delete this from Terraform, now remember, it's a very good idea that you always manage your resources only from Terraform that has been created. You should not manually manage it from any other source. If a resource is created from Terraform, it should be managed from Terraform. You should not go from portal and just delete that, do anything. Otherwise, Terraform will be a complete mess. Okay, so remember, if you have provisioned your infrastructure via Terraform, in future, if you want to do any changes, it's a good idea to always do from Terraform. Why? Because see, when your Terraform creates any resource, it creates a TF state file. This TF state file keeps the complete detail of your infrastructure, that what you have right now implemented. Okay, so next time if you do any changes in your configuration, Terraform will check that whether this configuration matches this state file or not. If it does not matches, it will prompt you for the changes, otherwise not. Okay, now imagine if you did manual changes from the portal here, from the web browser, then how will Terraform come to know? Terraform don't know about that, right? So that can be a problem for Terraform. It's very confusing. So management of the resources, if created by a Terraform, should be strictly done from the Terraform. Now we will see how to delete these resources. Okay, so to delete this, we simply run the command terraform destroy. Terraform destroy. Now when I run terraform destroy and hit enter, it will prompt me for a confirmation. It's a good idea to always run destroy without auto approve. You can run with auto approve also, but that's not a good practice, because when you run destroy, you can confirm that what you are going to delete. Okay, so let me run this command. Let's wait for it. Me that, hey, this one will be deleted. You see it shows in red color when adding, in green color when deleting, in red color. So do you want to destroy? I said yes. Enter. What is the best practice? Okay guys, how do we do it in production? We will separate this data from here. I'm only writing resource blocks. In main.tf, only resource block. That's it. I will create one new more file here and we'll give it a name called provider. .tf. I can give any name. I'm giving provider name, and I will put provider information here. Save the data. That's it. Okay. What I'm doing is, see, I can have 100 of files here in which I'm creating 100 of resources, but all of them I'm creating only on my provider, right? So it's a good practice, that you separate your resources in different files so that you don't disturb your configuration later on. Okay, that is what this slide says, that you should have different files as much as possible so that it's easy for you to manage and troubleshoot if something goes wrong. Imagine if this is a 200 lines of code. Okay, it's right now it's only 12, just now it was some 20 lines. If it is 200 lines of code, and if some changes you have to do to your provider, you might have to scroll up and down again and again, right? So it might be having some typos in other configuration also. So the best part is you keep your provider separate so that any changes to provider, hey Kumar, go to provider, do the changes here. That's it. Okay, now question is, okay Akhil, provider is separate, this is separate, will this work? Will this work? And yes or no? So if I do apply here, check it out.
Yeah.
I did not save this file, sorry, my bad. Yep. So it will work, right? Because this is going to load all the .tf file or tf state file, anything in the memory. So it is declarative approach, does not matter where you have written it. So it will first pick up my provider and then go to the resources and start creating them. Okay, so no matter wherever you put this, it should be in the same folder. You cannot put it in some other folder. That will be a problem because it's checking it into the current working directory. So you see it says that 3 plans to add. So I say yes. Now let me create this and then I will show you destroying a particular resource. Okay, so 3 resource added. Let's confirm. Resource groups, refresh. Okay, RG1 to 3, all of them are displaying. Now you are saying, Akhil, I only want to delete the third RG, not all of them. So if I run Terraform destroy, it will delete everything. I don't want to delete everything, right? So what you will do, you will say Terraform destroy -target. Okay, you will use -target equals to, and then you will put your resource type, that is Azure RM underscore resource underscore group. But the question is, Akhil, we have 3 Azure RM underscore resource underscore group. How will Terraform understand that which one we want to delete? So what will be the answer? Dot. That is where your reference name comes into picture. This name is of no use to Terraform. Terraform is checking for this name. Now in this example, both names are same, but Terraform is actually checking for this name. Okay, that is what Terraform knows. So I will say .rg3. When I hit enter, so now it will show you only one plan to delete, not all of them. Of course, I don't have auto proof, so it will ask me for a confirmation. So remember, good idea to always destroy without auto proof, because if you give auto proof, might be something accidentally is deleted. I am trying to connect to Microsoft Azure. It's taking a lot of time on this network. Okay, no problem. Let's wait. Let's have patience. Do they have any data center here? Maybe not. That's first taking problem. Okay, so it says that do you really want to destroy all the resources? Targeting in effect. Yes. Go ahead. So it's deleting. Let's wait for it to destroy. Just finding it out why it's taking so much time. Do they don't have somewhere? Brazil, Canada, Mexico. This is nearby. Okay, sample. So about deleting, so it says one resource is destroyed. Let's check our RG3 is deleted or not. Resource groups, you can see RG3 is gone. Now let's say, let's come here. Now I will just run destroy command. Okay, only destroy, no target, nothing. Now let's see what happens. Here I already have this information of RG3, but I don't have it on here on total. Okay, you see how many plans it will propose. How much it should propose, 2 or 3 to delete. Yes, so it will check the real state, and in TF state file already you have only 2 informations, right? So you only have 2 informations here. RG1 I can see, and if you scroll down, you will see RG2. Okay, there is no RG3 information, so it will try to give me the information that, hey, okay, delete these 2 resources is going to be deleted. So even if you have the configuration, no problem, because after every apply or destroy, your TF state file keeps getting updated. Okay, so you can see only it's connecting to RG1 and 2. So that's why it's a good practice to keep documenting, putting a comments that this resource has been destroyed, multi-line comments, and then go with that. So that's a good practice. Now let's say that you are creating another resource inside this resource group. Let's say a virtual network, a VM. So don't create in this file. Create another file named as vm.tf and define your VM configuration there. So it will be very easy for you to manage and troubleshoot your infrastructure. So it says to destroy. So I'll say yes, and then it will be destroyed. Okay, so this is about destroy, and same way creating different configuration files. We will see these configuration files in our upcoming topics, variables, TF vars, output. As of now, just wanted to give you an idea that how you can have different configuration files. Okay, we will see something like this, variables, in our upcoming topics. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a virtual machine. Okay, a complete virtual machine. Let me do one thing. I'll create a new folder inside K21TF, and I will give the folder name as, let's say, Windows VM. Windows VM. Okay, and inside this Windows VM, I'm going to create my files. So first file inside Windows VM, I'm going to create named as main.tf. And inside the same, I will create another file which is going to be named as provider.tf. You can go with the same file. You don't need to create another folder. I'm just trying to keeping the files separate. That's it. Now, first thing is, since I have changed the directory, I need to change my directory on console also, right? So I'll simply say cd and Windows VM. So now I'm inside the Windows VM folder. Otherwise, if I don't change it, it will every time pick up my old configuration files. So now I wanted to pick these files inside Windows VM. Okay. First thing first, let's go to provider.tf and put our provider information. Let's copy paste our provider. Provider.tf. Here we go. Done. Let's do an init inside this folder. Download. Fine. Meanwhile, it's installing provider. We can continue writing our code. So let's go ahead. So we want to create a virtual machine. We don't know what to write. Let's go to the documentation. And on the documentation page, let's search here Windows virtual machine. Windows virtual machine. And here it is the output. Azure RM Windows virtual machine. Let's select this. Scroll down, and this is an example. Provider already we have. We will not copy this. Let's copy it from here. And then we will do the changes after reading the code accordingly. Let's copy it till here. Control C, and let's go here. Okay, well, that's a lengthy code, 50 lines. Okay, in general, if I talk, what all do you need to create a virtual machine on Microsoft Azure? Requirement is, first requirement, we need a resource group. Second requirement is we need a virtual network. Third requirement is, if you want a public IP so that you can access your Windows machine, then you need a public IP also. Okay. Fourth is you need a network interface card. And fifth is your OS details, OS image details. Correct? Anything else I'm missing? What else do we need to create a virtual machine? Public IP is optional because this Subnet and all will come inside VNet. We can take subnet. Yes, that's a good point. Subnet. Okay, fine. Let's see what do we have in this example. Provider we have got. Okay. First one is RG. Okay, so let's change the name so that we can identify our RG name. Let's say it's the name of VM RG, or let's say Windows RG. Windows RG. And location, you can go with the same. I will prefer to go with East US, fast and cost effective. Okay, so requirement is fulfilled. RG is done. Second, they have virtual network. Very good. Let's change the virtual network. You can go with the default names, no problem. Okay, I'm just changing it for my just understanding. Let's go with the same name, no problem. Now see this, everyone. This is the reference name. Do you think they will have problem if I have same reference name for all resources? No, right? Because they are referring to different resources from the beginning. So it will not be a problem. Problem will be only when I try to use the same resource again. Okay, so don't get confused with this. So let's not change our local names also. And location, how it is fetching, it's taking from my resource group dot local name dot location. That means whatever location I will have here, that will be automatically substituted here also, as well as RG name also. Line number 9 and 10 is clear. So instead of writing location and RG name everywhere in each resource, I have simply taken the reference from here, from the resource group name, so that in future if I will do any changes, I will only do these two changes, not at all the places. Okay, same way I have a subnet. Cool, let's go with the same name of subnet also, same prefixes. So we have got subnet, we have got VNet, we have got RG. Then next I can see they have network interface. Name is okay, location is okay. In network interface they have the IP configurations. Okay, that means to which IP they are connecting from the subnet. That's also perfectly fine. Then they have virtual machine details. That means OS details. What is the size they are using of machine? This is the credentials. Let's change this credential. I can remember, so I'll say Akhil. And password is okay. We can go with this $1234. Let's remove this. Then this virtual machine is getting attached to this network interface in this line number 40. Network interface dot example dot id, that means to this which is created here in line number 20. Cool. Then this is the disk. You are asking about the storage, so they are using a standard LRS disk also. Storage is also fine. Then what image? They're using a Windows Server image 2016 latest version. What is missing? Public IP. As I told, it's not important, right? But let's put a public IP so that we can, check our Windows machine by taking an RDP connection. So for that, we can go to here and we can search here public IP, Azure RM public IP. Let's only copy the public IP part. We can put it anywhere because order does not matter. Let's put it after subnet. So a resource group, creating a name. Inside this resource group, all these resources are getting created, and you see my Windows VM is only taking reference of network interface. Okay, and with network interface automatically it's getting the reference of subnet, that this subnet will be used. Okay, and subnet is already taking a reference of my virtual network, that this virtual network will be used. So all of them are linked to one another. Okay, just now I pasted a public IP. Now public IP needs to be attached to my network interface, right? So that it gets allocated to my VM. So how will I attach my public IP to network interface? I don't know. I will check it here, that in my network interface, where is this attached? So let's check network interface. So let's see the example. This is virtual network, this is subnet, this is network interface. They have not given the example of public IP. Okay, let's see the document. Public IP, public IP, private IP, public IP. Public IP is optional. Yes, we have seen that. It's reference to a public IP to associate with the NIC. So this is the how we have to refer it. Public underscore IP underscore address underscore ID. And this has to be defined under which block? Under IP configuration block. So let's copy this. And inside network interface, this is my IP configuration here. Anywhere I can define it. So I'll say public IP is equals to, how will I call it? From Azure RM, public IP dot local name dot, what's my local name? ID, because it needs ID. So I'm calling the ID. That means from dot example. That means from here, it will fetch the ID and will attach it to my IP block of my network interface. Now that's okay. Overall, now it is 62 lines of code. So all of you take your time, complete it till here first. And then I will show you the final step. And while doing it, if you have any questions, you can go line by line. Okay. And if you have any question, you can ask me. And after completing this code, do not run plan apply, wait for my instructions. So let's save. File and do a plan. On mute, I am doing the plan and apply. So it says 6 plans to add. So let's count how many resources we have. So the first resource is my resource group 1, virtual network 2, subnet 3, public IP 4, network interface 5, and then last resource virtual machine 6. Perfect. Now if you see with this each, there are a lot of attributes. You see for virtual machine, these are all the attributes. Some of them we have defined, some of them we have not. Okay, so it depends. Same way you see for virtual network, we have given, some of them will be known after apply. Same way for subnet, and for resource group, for public IP, okay, as well as for the network interface. So let's go ahead and do an apply, and let's see that we create this machine -auto -approve. So let's wait for it to be deployed. It will create 6 resources for me in a resource group. So the single place where I can test everything is my resource group.
Thank you so much for staying with us till the end of the video. Now all you have to do is just click the link in the description below, or if you are just starting out, just type K21Academy.com/terraform02 and you will be redirected to page like this. Now all you have to do is just enter your name, enter email ID, enter phone number and click on register now. Then you will be redirected to a thank you page, and you can also add this session to your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar. And I promise this is something that you don't want to miss, so go ahead, click on the link and step into the world where learning knows no boundaries. Till then, keep enjoying. I'll see you in the next video.